Welcome to your Daily 5 for Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. Microsoft held an event early last week which was centered around their upcoming Copilot PCs, which are a new line of computers that really seem to have two primary purposes. One is to take on the Apple Silicon line of laptops. I don't think they're really worried about the desktop space. I think this is more for their their laptop solutions. But also, they announced a number of updates coming that will keep them in the AI conversation, part of the AI hype cycle that's currently going on. And the one that got the most reaction all over the place is one that's coming to Windows 11 called Recall. Now, this is, as far as I've read, only going to work on these new Copilot PCs, so anybody who has a Windows 11 machine today wouldn't really even get access to this feature, wouldn't have to worry about it. But what got security and privacy people starting to tear their hair out over this is that Recall is, in effect, a system-wide logger of every single thing that you do on your Windows machine. So it will keep track of everything. I have the different descriptions. One of them said everything that you can see on your screen, it's keeping track of. And that allows you to then, let's say that you had let's say you created a song file and you saved it and you couldn't find it, just could not locate it. You'd be able to hit your Copilot button, or I assume invoke the AI assistant through some kind of verbal command and say, hey, Copilot, where is test3.mp3? I created it last week and I can't find it. And the system would be able to go, index the whole system, find it, and give it to you. Or if you said, I saved this version of a Word document and I realized I made a huge error and I need to go back 2 versions, can you revert this back 2 versions? It would be able to surface that to you. I mean, we'll have to see what it can actually do. That's what they're promising it can do. And again, people went crazy because, understandably, Microsoft does not exactly have the best track record as far as keeping their systems secure. I'm pretty sure Windows is still the dominant target for every ransomware, hacker, and data mining type of group where people are going after other people that there is, because it's such a dominant platform and there are so many holes in the system. So, as you would expect, a lot of people really negatively reacted to this. And I looked at it and I've read about it, and number one, I'm never going to use this thing. I'm not going to get a Copilot PC. And even if I did, I would not enable this because I do not need something like this. But at the same time, I don't really have a problem with it because from what I have seen, it is going to be an opt-in feature. Now, if that's not the case, then that's a completely different discussion. But from what I've seen, you will have to opt into this thing. And assuming that the language used clearly explains what it is, I do think there are a lot of people who might benefit from something like this. It won't be for me, and I think that a lot of people who are very concerned about their data privacy and security, no, they're not going to use it either, but you could say that about a lot of things. But I don't think that the recall feature itself is necessarily a bad idea. Now, there is one problem with Microsoft's argument around how it's secure, 100% privacy focused, as they said, because they say, well, we're never sending any of this data off your machine. It never goes to the cloud. And at first, okay, that sounds really good. They're keeping it on device, the same type of claims that Apple makes about their stuff. Problem is, that doesn't mean that somebody can't access it that's not on your computer. Microsoft products have had a history of being easy to exploit and access from outside your network. And so if somebody was able to get access to the machine from outside your home, which is not, something that's never happened, then they, in theory, could get access to everything that you've got. Now, we'll have to see. Once it's actually out, we'll see what the security around it is. You better believe people are going to be hammering it. But just because it doesn't leave the device, I don't know that that necessarily means that it's all that secure. We'll have to see. But I think that there is a lot of benefit for a lot of people with accessibility challenges, people who have organizational issues where they can't find things or they lose things. There are lots of people I could see benefiting from this recall feature that would actually make it easier for them to use a Windows machine. So I'm not against it by default. We just have to see what it actually looks like. And again, it better be an opt-in feature. And then when you turn it off, because they're saying, well, you can turn it off at any time, well, what happens to all that data? How far can this thing keep track of things? Will you need a huge storage component to be able to store all this information? We really just don't know that yet. But again, I'm not going to just immediately react and say, this is the worst thing Microsoft's ever done. I'll never use it. I know that. And I'm kind of curious how it's going to be implemented. But at the same time, I can see benefits to it. The problem is, of course, you have to trust Microsoft. Just like trusting any other big company, that's really going to be the problem. But I'd be curious, those listening, what do you think of this recall feature? Would you ever use it? Let me know later.